Tengo miedo, profesor Dumbledore.
Todos tenemos miedo a algo.
¡Regulus!
Newt, ahora vas tú. Esto es insólito. El mayor de los temores del señor Scamander es...
About Theseus, we don't know his Hogwarts house, anything about his wand. Could you tell us anything, or what did J.K. Rowling tell you about Theseus before?
Before, well, you know what? The script is so in depth. We were saying just now, it's almost like a book. It's a hybrid between a script and a book. And you know, he's a ministry man. He's grown up through the establishment. He's risen through the ranks extremely quickly, and he's the top. He's at the top. He's the head aura.
I'll never forget. I don't know if you ever saw this, but I saw an early version of a script in which the young guys were at
the flashback.
Yeah, the flashback when they were at Hogwarts together. He came like flying past the window on a Quidditch stick, on his broomstick, sorry, and he was clearly like a schoolboy sporting hero.
Like a jock kind of thing,
The cool kid in class.
Yeah, definitely. The antithesis of Newt.
Exactly. I was actually really upset that my flashbacks got cut out. It wasn't even me. No, there's so much, and you know, J.K. Rowling paints these complex characters, and the subtleties in them and the nuances are there to play, and it's a joy. And then to play with Eddie is amazing too.
How about the Scamanders? Do they have?
Well, you're about to find out. You're about to find out.
Do you know, we're given a certain amount of information, and normally it's the information that we dig into and we ask specifically of Joe. But there are so many things that we don't know. And there are things like I know that Newt's mum was bred hippogriffs, and that's where his love from the creatures came from, but we don't necessarily yet know all of the intricacies of their backstory.
I know in the future though, your grandson marries Luna Lovegood.
That's true. And we also kind of know that Newt and Tina end up living happily ever after in Dorset. Well, I say happily ever after.
Dorset.
I don't know. But what's
Dorset?
I don't know because that's what it says.
Right.
But like you have all these pegs, and then you try and piece together what you can.
You weave in and out.
Are we going to see this like dark side, manipulated side of Dumbledore?
It's so funny you say that.
To break that image of perfection.
Well, I definitely think, and Jude Law talks a lot about this, about Dumbledore's demons, and that's and his damage, and I think that is going to be investigated over the next few films. But what I love about Newt and Dumbledore's relationship, in comparison to Harry and Dumbledore's relationship, is that Newt is, it's a master apprentice, but also Newt's now kind of, I'm not saying he's anywhere near Dumbledore's level, but he sees Dumbledore. He knows Dumbledore for who he is. So even in this film, when Dumbledore is gently manipulating him or nudging him to go on this mission for him, Newt does it with his eyes open. He knows the manipulation, but he also knows that there is something, and I think Newt has this capacity to see the good in people, and he knows that whatever the reasons, even though he's, Dumbledore's being wily and not giving him the reasons, he knows that it's for the good. But I think that relationship will remain complex, and we'll see how it changes.
I'm super excited to see. I mean, obviously we know the older Dumbledore. I'm super excited to see how that plays out, and how Jude, you see flickers of it in his eyes in this one.
Well, this movie connects a lot with the previous franchise, with new characters like Nagini, like Dumbledore. Some people think that they are only for fan service and not an important part of the movie. I don't know if you have something to tell them to...
Oh, that's interesting. For me, and our whole thing with joining this world is it's Joe's imagination. My brother, actually, Charlie, used to work for Pottermore, and before I had ever met J.K. Rowling, he said the extraordinary thing about Jo is you can ask her about any character within her world and say, what were they doing when they were like 12? And she will have, this world is not fiction to her, it's in her imagination. And that has been the greatest gift for us in these films, is getting to swim in that imagination. So all I would say to those people who are questioning or interrogating, Jo doesn't need to write these stories. She doesn't need, she's written the most extraordinary pantheon of books. Like, but she's doing it because she cares about the characters, and that's I just say have faith in her.
Wizards' history, it's parallel to Muggles' history, and eventually we are going to be at World War II in this franchise. What do you think it's going to be Grindelwald's part in this crossing of two stories? Is he going to be like the dictator, like the Adolf Hitler of the Wizarding World, or is he going to be like his own kind of villain?
Do you know, I have no idea. Genuinely no idea.
That's interesting though. You just made me think that how much does he influence the real world? The Muggles.
I'd love to see how the two worlds collapse in one big world war that...
We have no idea. I mean, the scripts are locked down until close to shooting, so we have no idea.
But at the same point, like, what happened in history was real, and this is fiction, and I think there has to be a serious sensitivity with how that's handled.
Of course. I'd like to know, without giving away anything, but what did you think when you discovered the big twist? Only your emotion.
There are so many big twists.
Well, because we wait, you see, for like, I'd done the first film, and then you have a year and a half of not knowing where the character's going, so you're waiting. They're like, we're going to send you the script, and then the script arrives, and you're almost nervous to read it because I know you've got so much anticipation, and I read through, and I read through, and I read through, and I read through, and I got to the end, and literally my jaw was on the ground. I sort of picked it up, took one breath, and then read it all again to sort of see how it all fitted in. It was pretty exhilarating, yeah.
Since in this franchise we have the whole world, not only Hogwarts, to travel, where would you like to take Theseus and Newt in future adventures?
The rumor of Rio is really appealing to me. I mean, Rio is one of my favorite cities.
Jo has just tweeted that some of the next film will be set in Rio de Janeiro, and we found out when the rest of the world found out, so we're quite excited about that. The Scamander brothers on Copacabana Beach, maybe that might be quite fun.
Shot in Leavesden.
Shot in Watford, just
on
outside London.
November day.
Exactly. Freezing November day. You just build Copacabana Beach, but that sounds quite attractive. Yeah.
One last question. Yesterday you were at the fan event of the movie, and you had your first contact with Spaniard fans, and I'd like to know how was it, because you've traveled a lot with these movies, but I think our Potterheads are the most intense.
Intense. Do you know what? I would say they are up there with the most passionate of fans, because we went into this screening where these guys have been watching all of the Harry Potter films and First Fantastic Beasts for 24 hours, seemingly without any sleep, and I don't know how that's humanly possible, but they were still, when we walked, we surprised them, and they were so like excited and kind of, I think, overwhelmed by the prospect of the new film coming out. It blew our minds, completely blew our minds.
They're so loving, and they haven't seen me in a film yet, and they're so accepting of me and loving and caring, and just give me a big warm hug.
Yeah.
I love them.
Eres demasiado bueno, Newt. No has conocido a ningún monstruo por el que no sientas debilidad.
Credence. Señor Scamander, ¿cree que Dumbledore llorará su muerte?